Greetings, family. Dr. Ali is in the building. Welcome to our webinar for our 21-day detox and body regeneration exercise in learning the proper methods to help our particular bodies. When I say our, I'm talking about our genotypes, the prevalent genotypes amongst our people. And if you're watching this and you are not of the specific focus that I give to Black biology and Black genetics, then by default, you still fall within the parameters of receiving a very, very, very qualitative amount of guidance in respect to improving your health, right? I want to make sure I got most of my participants inside of operations, and that if anybody has any questions or anything, they can, they can definitely send me a text. I'm not able to enable comments on a private stream, but I provided my direct cell phone number in the email that I sent out, so that if you have a question or comment or something of that nature, you can text that number. It is the 267-258-8864 number. And yeah, if you have any questions or any issues with the audio, video, or something of that nature while we're talking, then we can use that. All right. All right. See any emails coming from anyone asking any questions? So I guess we can really just kind of jump into the subject matter. Okay. So first things first, what is the general purpose of us doing a 21-day detox? Well, generally socially, we understand that not everyone, but a lot of people are spending time with the family during this time of year, November and December, and they may divulge, if they're living a healthy lifestyle, in some things that they don't regularly divulge in, or if they regularly divulge in those things, they may increase them. So they need an opportunity to get some refocus with the said new year that is coming. And so, we decided to offer this regimen. I do this regimen all the time, but I wanted to offer it publicly so that we could start sharing some of the things and debunk the misconceptions of food and nutrition and exercise, and the things that really help with what we are calling detox. I think sometimes when we hear the word detox, we don't get a full enough understanding or comprehension of what we mean when we say detox. Okay. And what should also be present when the body is detoxing is the right type of nutrition, the right type of psychosomatics, the right type of exercise and rest and hydration that allows for body regeneration. You can't regenerate cells without knowing the science of how to regenerate cells or the components of cells. You have to have certain organs that are in optimal functioning when that is happening. And if those organs and the cells and the parts of the cell are not receiving what they need, then you will not get regeneration in the body. And we need to understand what regeneration is. A lot of times we hear words, detox, regenerate, those terms, and we don't understand what they mean, or the biochemistry of them, or the proper look and vantage point to understand what actually is a detox. What am I detoxing? And what's the most efficient way to accomplish such a thing? So when we think about it in respect to nutrition, what we are dealing with is cleaning the mucous membrane of the digestive tract. The digestive tract starts in the mouth, goes through the esophagus, down into the stomach, past the sphincter, down into the stomach, and then passes on to the duodenum with some organs that are surrounding that area. You have the bile shaft from the gallbladder and the liver, which I'm going to show pictures of this. and you have the pancreas, all right? Both having ducts that open out into the duodenum, and the duodenum leads to the small intestines, and then in the small intestines you have the appendix, and then it passes on to the large intestines, and then you have the rectum and the area of the exit of waste material. That particular system, which we call the alimentary system or the digestive system, must be thoroughly cleaned. So now, how do you clean the membrane of such a large area? What things do we do on a regular to cause toxification? And what are we, or where are we creating that toxification at? Okay, so there's a lot of things happening on that membrane, all right? You have loads and loads of chemicals and processes and other things that are happening. But for the most part, when you deal with the membrane of an organ or organ system, you're dealing with what's called epithelial cells. And they vary because they can change to villi, like in the intestines, etc. But for the most part, you're dealing with the surface of an organ. So you're dealing with epithelial cells. And epithelial cells are really important because they produce plasma cells that produce antibodies, right? So the body has little hairs throughout the digestive lining and the epithelial cells and other things that work towards immunity. And when I say immunity, I'm talking about the ability to neutralize a pathogen, all right? And what types of pathogens are we talking about? We're talking about 5 major types of pathogens. We're talking about viruses, which are one of the 5 that are dead. Viruses are dead. They are codes of DNA or RNA, and they're dead. They cannot act. They have to have something that can assemble them in order for them to act. So no virus within itself can do anything. I need you to understand that. The virus itself cannot do anything, which leads us to real healing, real detox, all right? A real look at pathology. But then we go to fungi and yeast. The fungi and the yeast are different. They are active and they are alive. And in their activity, they can reproduce in mass. And in reproducing in mass, they require to take things from you in order for them to survive. They require certain types of environments. And so the yeast and fungi can become really problematic. Think about things like candida, right? Next, we moved to bacteria, right? So we got viruses, yeast, fungi, bacteria, all right? And the bacteria are similar to, or can be similar to yeast and fungi, except you can have bacteria that promote life and you can have bacteria that promote death. And I think that the classification is a big issue with understanding the difference between the two. However, suffice to say, we have interface with bacteria for long periods of time. And so there are some that have been beneficial that are in our guts right now and on our skin and other places, and there are others that are not beneficial, okay? And then last, we have protozoa, which morph into the field of parasites. And so if you can deal with all 5 of those and neutralize the adverse ones inside of your digestive tract, you can keep lots of good health. 70% of your immunity takes place within the digestive tract. If your digestive tract is kept clean and the right things are put into it, you will never get sick. So I want you to think about this. And you can do this experiment. Let's say you take some Elmer's glue or something of that nature. And give me something to drink. Hold on. And I'm going to use this as a prop too. Let's say you take some Elmer's glue. All right. Use this as a prop. Get some of this, guys, because I'm gonna need to talk about this. And you put it on a surface, a table, gets sticky, or some syrup or something that will get sticky on a table, a surface like this. If you were to clean that, what things would you use to clean it without damaging this membrane? Let's say you took some alcohol, which is what most people take tinctures with. They tincture their herbs in alcohol. You take the alcohol, you put it on the table. What's going to happen is it will get the items up because it's acidic. However, it will damage the surface. It will eat away at the surface. All right. So now we have to look at anytime we have taken any herbs tinctured in alcohol, they injure membranes. And in injuring the digestive mucosal lining or membrane, you are destroying epithelial cells, and epithelial cells are where your plasma cells are developing antibodies. So you're literally lowering your ability to keep antibodies present. One popular supplement that's really, really known for that is MMS. MMS is used by people. They think that it can help, bring oxygen to tissues, and some people even use it for things like herpes and other things. And MMS is one of those things like alcohol. It's really, really, really toxic. So it can kill germs. It can kill bacteria and virus. It can kill those, or not kill viruses, but kill bacteria, fungi, and yeast. It can kill those things, but it also damages the tissues. And so we don't want to use those types of supplements that damage tissues. But if you had some warm lime juice and you took it and maybe added a sprinkle of baking soda, which is what? A mineral salt, right? And you rubbed it onto the surface, it would clean that glue up or that syrup up really fast. All right. And so we have to understand that citric acid is something that can be used to clean surfaces, but it has to be found in the fruit, not isolated citric acid. I'm talking about the citric acid in the fruit. So you can have functional acids. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And you can have dysfunctional alkaloids or alkalines, like what we find in mushrooms. All right, it's a dysfunctional alkaline state. And that's also in the what? The fungi family. So you can have bad alkaline and good acids, or good alkaline and bad acids, and it's all based on biochemistry. Okay? And so to clean the surface of your digestive tract, you could literally get you some nice alkaline water, some organic lime juice, and clean that surface. And so inside of your, for those of you who signed up for the full 21-day regimen, you're going to see in your daily regimen, in the PDF that you get emailed, that in the mornings, we do warm water with lime juice, organic lime juice. So it's important to get organic only because organic deals with the soil. And that means that there wasn't a lot of nitrogen used in the soil, and therefore there was no need for pesticides. With large amounts of nitrogen in the soil, it weakens the plant, and pests come to feed on those plants. All right. And so, no, we're not going to get up in the morning and do green tea. No, we're not going to get up in the morning and do coffee. No, we're not going to get up in the morning and drink herbal teas. We're not going to do any of those things. Those are not functional ways to approach detox. And remember what detox is. Detox is removing any of those 5 pathogens or the adverse food substances like pasta, rice, cheese. These things stick like Elmer's glue to these membranes. And so you can't tell somebody to do a 14-day water fast when they live that type of lifestyle, because they are going to have reactions that kick in addictions, or they will detox too fast. And whenever you detox, the food stuff comes through the digestive tract and gets into the blood. And so when your blood has elevated levels of toxemia, that's when you get nausea feeling and you feel dizzy and you feel like you're going to pass out. The person who is guiding you in the detox regimen should be aware of that biochemical fact. And so they should not put your body into septic shock through fasting or through some type of detox program. The detoxing should be a combination of things that make it very, very soothing for the body. All right. And if there's minimal issues with the feeling of anything, it should most likely make you sleep and not be serious levels of pain. If you have an issue, a chronic issue, tumors, excessive levels of high sugar, and borderline or diabetic, and you don't know it, sometimes you can get those particular symptoms. And so it's really, really important for us to be aware of those things. You don't want to put your body in shock. And so if you're doing a detox regimen and you're in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, I'm willing to do a bioscan on you. And let me show you what that kind of looks like. The bioscan can be done using a number of different types of equipment that I have. But here's a sample of someone's bioscan. And this is the measurement of the activity in the nephritic area, the kidneys. And you can see the person was doing pretty good. All right, the uric acid index is kind of high. And that was because of the type of diet that I had them on. All right. And they were doing some things prior to that time that suggested that, yeah, it would cause that. Okay. But you have measurements of protein in the urine. You have measures of urea, which is the nitrogenous substance you get from eating cow meat and chicken, all that nitrogen. The liver attempts to neutralize it, the ammonia, and it creates urea to be excreted through the digestive tract or to be excreted out of the body via the kidneys. All right. So you have the uric acid and the protein in your urine and other things that are being measured here. All right. All right. More for that. So I mean, there's other areas that get scanned, of course. We can scan your liver, your brain, any of those. All right. So what I'm trying to give you a basic idea of what is detox. As the food absorbs through a healthy membrane in the small intestines. Again, these membranes have to be healthy. If the membranes aren't being cleaned on a regular, then you're not absorbing what you're eating, and you could be urinating and having bowel movements, and all of your nutrition is going out. This is what you have to have with lots of vegans. They start to atrophy. Their muscles and their bones lose density. Their teeth get rotten. And so they start losing weight, but then they start shriveling up. We don't want that to happen to the people who we teach about nutrition and diet, because we want to increase absorption. And there's certain things that you need to increase in order to increase absorption. All right. And certain things that attack absorption. I'm not going to tell you to juice kale and broccoli and eat Brussels sprouts, because those foods are goitrogens, and goitrogens take your iodine, your potassium, and your calcium down. All right. They affect your vitamin D3 or hormone 3, D3. And when those things are happening, you lose the ability to absorb. All right, in key areas. And so once the food can absorb in the villi of the intestines, it passes into the portal vein and goes to the liver, the food paste, where the food is actually being matured to help build red blood cells. So the liver has a key role in your hemoglobin. That's literally why it looks like it looks, the color. And so you can't detox without helping the liver to detox. But if the liver has to filter through all kinds of waste food to help pull the right things out so that you will have the tools to proteins and types of mineral complexes and other things to help build the body's hemoglobin and other things that the liver does. The liver does so much stuff, all right? And it chelates to toxins. If it can't do all of that, cannot detox. Cannot detox. And so detox has a lot to do with the digestive tract, the cleaning of the membrane, maintaining the immunity inside of the epithelial cells of the digestive tract, and also keeping the liver clean. Right? And so there has to be a complex way of addressing all of these things. And this is what our regimen is going to do. All right? You're going to get a free copy of this book for your reading. And we have a daily schedule. I'm going to show you what I propose for your daily schedule so you could just kind of take a look at what it actually would look like to go on this 21-day regimen. Let's take a look at it. All right. And when you get your PDF file, you're going to see all this information in here. So this is how your day starts out. In the morning, I have specific types of breathing that I teach. 3 main types. Perineum, deep breathing exercises. Perineum contraction, deep breathing exercises. Dragon breaths. And spine bending breaths. Those 3 are the type that I use. They are to relax the body, to oxygenate the body, to reduce stress hormones, and to promote certain neuropeptides that you need in order to be healthy. A lot of times we are under high levels of stress, and that stress becomes recurrent. And so we build receptor networks that are ready and addicted to things like anger and depression. And so we have to watch out for that. And so these breath exercises, which I'm going to talk about, all help specific things. The perineum breaths help with the heart. They help with the reproductive organs. They help with the internal chamber of organs in the diaphragm, to relax them and to build charge in them, electrical and magnetic charge, a certain bandwidth of charge. They help the plexuses that run from the spine, and they help the local neuropeptides to stimulate relaxation. There's nothing like forming a good habit. And so when you do those perineum breaths, you're going to find how easy it is for you to relax in a situation where others are panicking and stressed and anger and emotional. Right? Then we have the dragon breaths. The dragon breaths are exclusively done to help clear the lungs of mucus. They are a fast and powerful breath. And you will feel the mucus as it develops. Spit it right out when you do the dragon breaths. And then when you do the spine and back bending breaths, you are breathing in deep, pushing your chest out, curving your back inward, pulling your shoulders back, taking that deep inhale as far as you can go. Curl like a snake all the way back, head back. Then when you exhale, you curl your back in, caving your chest in, bringing your head towards your knees. And you keep doing that. And that particular one is one that's really, really, really good for your cerebrospinal fluid, for all of the upper plexuses that run to the heart, thyroid and parathyroid. It's a really good stretch. And that one will relax your body more because it's actually an exercise where you have to pull your muscles. And so doing those 3 types of breathing exercises just for a few minutes every day is going to teach you relaxation, biochemical relaxation, muscle relaxation, oxygenization of the tissues. You're going to oxygenate your tissues by deep breathing. Then, after that, you're going to get you 4 ounces of warm alkaline water and 3 teaspoons of organic lime juice and take it. You're going to do that every day within this 21-day regimen. You're going to clean off the membrane of your digestive tract. Right after that, you're going to take your first supplements, which will be cellular regeneration. All right. I'm going to put these in spray form, a spray bottle. And you're literally going to take about 4 sprays. 1, 2, 3, 4. Swallow. You follow with some water. Now, the idea behind this is to get to a point where you experience intermittent fasting and not eating all the time. But we don't want to starve you, and we want you to understand what we are trying to implement. Now, during this 21-day period, after this, you can amend this, but I want you to kind of stay on this schedule because we don't need to be eating breakfast. If you're used to eating breakfast, we're going to give you a simple morning smoothie, some organic bananas that's going to help with your prebiotic substances that you need to increase your potassium levels, and to help you get rid of any waste that is in your digestive tract. And we're going to get you to blend it with some basic coconut water. I just showed you. Harmless, harvest, raw coconut water. I'll show it to you when we come back. That's all we want you to do if you're used to eating breakfast. No breakfast. If you get hunger pains, keep doing that. If you don't eat breakfast, you can skip that. The more you let your digestive tract rest, the more you're going to build immunity, the more you're going to build the capacity to age slower. Because the more you work your digestive tract, the more you age. And I'll be able to explain that. So once you make it past noon, you're going to do another breathing exercise. You're going to take your cellular regeneration again. Then, if you're used to eating lunch, we want you to do banana, coconut, and avocado. Blend it up. On days where you need it heavier, you want banana instead of the coconut water, you're going to use coconut milk. Organic coconut milk and avocado. Blend that bad boy up into a nice thick drink and drink it. If you're hungry around lunchtime, we only want you to do dark berries, blueberries, blackberries, and cherries. Why? Because those dark berries have these great things called anthocyanins, also known as polyphenols, also known as plant melanins. And these little molecular structures are going to increase your absorption of your vitamins and your minerals. They're going to add the best antioxidants, polyphenols and anthocyanins, which bond to free radicals. They're going to give you a nice boost of energy. So midday, that's all you want to do. All right? That's all you want to do. And eat them till you're full. If you feel like you're getting hungry. If you're not, relax. Then in the afternoon, right before you take your supplements again, if you can, get some walking in, do some walking. If you're going to do some exercise, we're going to break down how you're not going to do cardio. You're going to learn interval training, calisthenics, walking and stretching. Cardio here is defined as continued high-paced exercise that works the heart and the lungs with no breaks. Meaning, if I jog for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's cardio. We do not want you doing cardio because cardio is stress-based exercise. One of the most stressful based types of cardio is marathoning. And if you study the history of marathoners and heart disease, you will see that heart disease runs rampant in those who run marathons. And that is because cardio produces stress hormones, catabolic hormones. The body is burning up its oxygen and its glucose supplies very quickly. So the body goes into catabolic hormone glucose search. In a search for glucose, it will use any carbon molecule to burn, including those found in protein structures which will cause atrophy. They will pull carboxylic acids out of the structure. That's stress-based exercise. We don't want that. Cardio causes vasoconstriction. Arteries in the veins start to squeeze tight because the body thinks you're in danger. So instead of running for 20 minutes, you could do intervals where you run for 60 seconds. Then you walk and you allow for your heart and your rate and your breathing rate to relax and bring in more oxygen so that your body does not go into homolactic fermentation, where lactic acid is produced. We don't want that to happen. All right, we want to keep the tissues with high levels of oxygen. That is how you use exercise as a form of internal cleansing, interval-based exercise. You avoid injury to tissues, you bring oxygen to tissues, you keep the muscles flexible, pliant, and stretched. All of that is important. We do not want stress-based exercise. So in the afternoon, you can do that. Then you're going to come and you're going to take your supplement called the Sweeper. The Sweeper will be in powdered form, and you will be required to put it in water. We'll have the amount, and then drink, shake it up, then drink it, literally. The Sweeper is going to help clean the membrane of the digestive tract like you've never had it clean. All right. It's also going to put minerals back into those tissues. So once you've done the sweeper, all right, you're pretty much ready for your evening meal. Now, what we want to do with the evening meal is this. We want to keep the evening meal within a 2 to 3 hour framework. Meaning, if you start eating around 5 p.m., you should be eating nothing after 7. The reason why we're stretching the period out so long is because we want you to do something that you probably don't do. Or if you don't do it, you need to learn. And that is what? Chew your food very slowly. Consciously chew your food very slowly. You could have one of these chard wraps we're going to show you, right? And we want you to chew it slowly and digest it well, and you will feel different if you don't gulp down your food. All right? After that, you're done eating. You can do some evening exercise, or if you had to do your exercise in the evening, that would be fine. All right? And you can drink some basic tea. When we send you the package, for those of you who sign up for the full regimen, we're going to send you some teas that you can take in the evening. So what does that day look like? Looks like this. Now, out of the 7-day week, we're going to eat like this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. After your Wednesday meal, Thursday will be all liquids, no solids. Friday, all liquids, no solids. Then Saturday, you can resume your meal plan, and Sunday. So we're going to have 2 days of liquid only days. And we're going to tell you exactly what you should be taking in. And so that's going to give you 6 days total of all liquids. Yes, you are going to lose bad fat. Bad fat is called white adipose tissue. It is a cancer-causing network of fuel for yeast, fungus, parasites, etc. You want brown adipose tissue or healthy fats that you get from things like olive oil, coconut oil. These are lipids. Those lipids can be converted into cholesterol, healthy cholesterol, and all hormones are made of cholesterols. So you need healthy fats to make healthy hormones. You want to know why your hormones are so jacked up? Because you have too much white adipose tissue. And it's being converted into estrogens and other things, adverse estrogens, estradiol. So we want to reassemble your body into a very healthy network of tissues. All right? And this is how we're going to do it. All right? This is literally how we're going to do it. So your 7 days, you will have a meal for Monday, a meal for Tuesday, a meal for Wednesday. Your regular banana, coconut, banana, avocado, coconut smoothies, you can do those all day. Or if you want to liquefy some green drinks, we'll give you those. And if it gets hard for you, we can puree the Vital coconut soup, puree it all the way down to a liquid, all right, in a Vitamix or something, a powerful blender, and drink it. That's going to help you. Believe me, your digestive tract is going to be singing. Your body is going to get all of the essential vitamins that it needs, coenzymes that it needs. All of that has been factored into what you're actually eating. All of the 28 trace minerals that your body is made of. And those trace minerals will be chelated in organic carbon molecules, as opposed to what you get when you go get vitamin D3 from a store. Those are chelated in amino acids, which is nitrogen. That's not for us, that's for your Asians. Our vitamin D structure is completely different because we are a different entity. And just in case we have any Europeans or Asians who are listening in, know and understand that this is science. And you can only improve upon your biological structure by following these particular things, because this is about biological structures. The Aboriginal populations, indigenous populations, and sub-Saharan populations have more carbon in concentrate inside of their tissues, which is going to give them better immunity and other things. And the wisest amongst your people know that. That's why they're after the cord blood and the placentas of Black women. And they're selling them to Life Bank USA, Celgene for telomere extraction and improvement of organs, organ regeneration. Right? All right. So this is the basic schedule. Come off of this. That we're going to give you for you to follow. And we want you to understand that we're giving you detailed things to do. All right. So let's look at the breathing. Now, if you don't know what the perineum is the space, if you're a male, between the bottom of your scrotum sac and your anal cavity. And if you sometimes when you're using the restroom and you have to urinate, that muscle you're squeezing in between is the perineum. It's right below the prostate cage. And for a woman, it's at the bottom of the vulva and between the entrance to the anal cavity, and you squeeze it as well. That's the muscular area. And so when you're breathing, first of all, let's go back. The reason why you have a navel is because there's an artery that was running from your heart to that area where you were receiving certain nutrients from your mother. All right. And it branched off. All right. Now, when you get older, that begins to deteriorate. This is why you see people doing lotus births and waiting a while for the cord to get cut, because inside of what's happening inside of that cord is you're basically giving your baby a vitamin K transfusion so that they can sustain the proper clotting and coagulation of blood when necessary. There are certain genetic structures that catalyze that. And so when you cut the cord too quickly, then there's an issue with that. And so they give the baby a vitamin K shot. Doesn't make sense. All right, so suffice it to say, we get that broken. All right. And so the purpose of doing the perineum breaths and squeezing that area, all right, upon intake of the air, all right, is it builds up charge. When I'm talking about charge, I'm talking about electricity, and whenever muscles contract, they contract based on electromagnetic realities. You have to have a certain charge to contract. All right. And so when you exhale and you release, that muscle, by going through that contraction, is bringing charge in and charge out. And it's directly connected to the navel. I won't go into details on that, but for those of you in advanced martial arts, you know what I'm saying is active and true. And so what happens is, if a man has erectile dysfunction and he does this exercise, it strengthens the prostate. Prostate acts as a gland and a muscle, right? And so his erectile dysfunction will literally go away, all right? And so we want you to do this breathing because it's going to help all of those muscles to relax. And all you're doing is squeezing the perineum as you take a deep breath. And relaxing. Squeezing the perineum. And relaxing. Squeezing the perineum. And relaxing. And you can feel your body literally relaxing as you do that. All right. So you're going to do that exercise. And that's going to be your morning breathing. You do that for about 5 minutes. All right. You can time yourself. Then after that, you're going to do your next breathing exercise. And when we think about cleaning the lungs, cleaning the arterial networks, excuse me, the airways. And the dragon breaths are forceful, right? So you're literally taking it out into your nose, out through your mouth hard. And it's gonna make you make a sound. So basically you're gonna be like, you're gonna get that ha out. You hear that, all right? And what if you have a lot of mucus? As soon as you start doing it, you're gonna feel it collect right in this area. You can spit it right out. But you want to do that. You can speed it up. You can speed it up, and it will produce more. Right? That is really important. You're pushing out more carbon dioxide and taking more oxygen, doing it at a rapid rate. All right. And so that's going to help oxygenate your tissues and help clean out your lungs. Really, really important. And then the last one is the back bending breathing. You can do this sitting down. All right. Indian style is best to do that, or with your legs flat on the ground is best, or standing. With this one, you're going to take a deep breath and you're just going to stretch your body all the way back. And then when you exhale, you're going to curl.
Curl your body into a curve.
Stretch your arms, stretch your traps, stretch your elbows back, and go. Hold it. You're going to keep doing that. That one is the most effective one, right? If you feel yourself getting a little lightheaded, that's the levels of oxygen going into your tissues. Slow it down and relax. Right? But you're getting a lot of oxygen to your tissues and that stretch. And you're also doing something to your cerebrospinal fluid. But suffice it to say, those are your 3 exercises that we want you to do. We want you doing that every day. Every day. All right? Also, this is one of the best brands of coconut water. You will immediately feel the difference between this. You're going to use organic bananas and this to make those smoothies that you are going to do if you are used to eating breakfast. All right? And then you can take this, the bananas and avocados midday around lunchtime. Then get you some berries. That's all we want you to do. If you feel like you need a little bit more, instead of doing this, you can do the organic coconut milk. Not in a can, in the carton, or in a bottle. All right? You can add it to the avocado and the bananas. It's going to give you potassium. It's going to give you the iodides. That's going to give you heavy doses of magnesium. right? It's going to give you some calcium. It's going to give you your bulk minerals, all right? Along with some of the other smaller trace minerals. But it's very, very important that you do that because it's going to focus, the focus is going to be the digestion, all right? Cleaning the digestive biome and helping the liver out. And so remember this product because I'm going to put it in the report, but you can remember, get a visual of it so you can see it. All right. Besides those, all we're dealing with after that is the meal plans. And inside of the meal plan, we give you the foods and we give you the instructions on how to make them. All right. And what we want you to stick to a very simple diet. So we put 7, well, probably 14, because say when you do your Vital Coconut Soup, you also have the wraps, chard wraps. So each dinner will have 2 little things like that. And remember, masticate your food. It's very, very, very important, right? And then when it comes to exercise, physical exercise, there'll be a section that deals with calisthenics. Calisthenics deals with moving your body weight, knee lunges, body squats, push-ups for women and men, arm swings to circulate the shoulders, all right? You want to get full circulation in all of your upper body to stretch your muscles properly. We do not do machine weights. I will stress again, we do not do machine weights. Machine weights is one of the key issues of why athletes get MCL tears, ACL tears, elbow tears, shoulder dislocations, because they are lifting weights or they're doing something to deteriorate the tendons and ligaments. Okay? That's why we tell you not to do too much apple cider vinegar, because it's good for a few days, it'll help, and then after that it starts deteriorating the muscles and the bones. And so vinegars and those types of things, fermented foods, will deteriorate tendons and ligaments. But back to the exercise and the weights, you want to do free weights. Free weights are dumbbells. So if you had to do some arm presses, you would do those arm presses right over. Boom, boom. All right, boom. All right. If you're doing some flies, forwards, all right. However you're doing those particular weights. So we're going to give you specific exercise that we recommend that you do. Knee lunges, same knee lunges, except you got weights now. All right. Ab work with the weights. I'm going to show you how to do all of those. For men, there are women who do these as well. Pull-ups. I wouldn't recommend that women do too many pull-ups, but and that's just because of structural issues. We're doing push-ups, all right? I mean, pull-ups and body dips, all right? But everybody should be strong enough to do a body dip, to do a pull-up, to pull your own weight, all right? To do a push-up. These are the exercises that will bring oxygen to your tissues, give you good stretches, all right? Calisthenics and interval training. So for men, you can do the pull-ups in intervals. However many you can do in intervals. Then you take a break, breathe, relax, stretch your arms, go back. Keep yourself hydrated. But there'll be a full list of these exercises. And again, you go with the breathing. Breathing properly during exercise motions is very important to oxygenating your tissues. This is how I can be 43 years old and still dunk a basketball, or go outside and sprint with young people. People look at me and they say, "Brother, you're 43?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm 43 years old." As far as time around the sun in units, but biologically, literally, I could be considered 25. My structural frame, how it looks, endurance, all of that. Age is deterioration. Times around the sun is just cycles. It's not age. But if we live a stress-driven life, then it will be. All right. So let's look at a few other things before we get out of here. So you'll basically have 15 days of solid food, 6 days of liquid food during this fast. You have some reading. I recommend that in the evening you do some reading. All right. You focus on research. That's why I'm giving you the free book. You have your times that you're going to take your cellular regeneration formula and your digestive sweeper formula. All right. The exercises will be very, very basic. All right. But we're going to explain the science of them so we can get vasodilation based exercises where your arteries and your veins open up to receive more blood flow, as opposed to cardio and stress exercises, which some of which I've discussed and talked about. And then the breathing. All right. So it's not a really, really, really difficult thing that we're dealing with. We're dealing with a very, very focused 21 days. You have your full daily schedule. There's no way that you will not know what to do. If you have any chronic ailments that you are looking at, like, oh, I have high blood pressure, oh, I have diabetes, use my number and my email, because I can give you tips that I won't have to give the normal person if you're on medication or any of those things. For some of you who signed up for this lecture only, you still have the opportunity to participate in the detox. And you can share it with your family because you can do this any time of the year. I thought it's always apropos to do it during this time because usually people are, maybe slipping up with their diet a little bit, maybe got some kind of, stuff going on. All right, so we got a little bit more to go over, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, give me a moment to open up some files, and we're going to jump right into our subject. All right. Got one file open. One more. I'll show you some stuff in your book that is apropos for this moment. And then we can get ourselves out of here. We wanted to keep this short and sweet, but we do want to show some visuals. All right, some things that you need to understand. Really need to understand. So let's go to the book. If any of you already have the book, I'm on page 5, or actually 6. And I want to deal with unique biochemistry, because oftentimes when we come and we're given advice about what we should do, our community is not producing enough institutions that specifically focus on the genetics of us as a people, our body types. In March of this year, we will be opening up our own forensic genetic center here in Atlanta. So we will be the first people to openly discuss the biodiversity of our people and equate it to nutritional needs, psychosomatic needs, etc. And I'm showing this page because this discussion on differences in anatomy is important. There was a study done, right? An excellent case is the vitamin D study led by author Dr. Ravi Badhani of the Massachusetts General Hospital. After testing 2,085 blacks and whites, they found that blacks had a different type of vitamin D, and thus tests were misdiagnosing them as vitamin D deficient. This error in diagnostics simply means that tests don't account for genetic and biological variants. So they did this test. What they found out is that the Europeans have these huge proteins attached to their vitamin D. Proteins means nitrogen. It's key. That blacks don't have. So blacks are absorbing most of their vitamin D into their cells and not leaving it in their bloodstreams. So they're not deficient, they're absorbing more, which explains what? The denser muscles and denser bones. So you can't go vitamin D3 supplement. You're going to have to go out in that sunlight or listen to somebody like Dr. Ali who will tell you what sea plants have the vitamin D that you need. Otherwise, you're going to put those high protein structure vitamin D sources inside of your body, and it's just going to create toxemia inside of your blood, gradual toxemia. Vitamin D is not even a vitamin, it's a hormone. That's why the sun, upon contact with the cholesterols that are in your skin, can start to produce it. Vitamin D deficiency is a severe problem, especially for people who live in Boston and New York, in Philadelphia, in Chicago, and Detroit. Severe vitamin D deficiency, because during parts of the year, you're not getting that. That's why I don't recommend people who live in those areas to be vegan in certain times of the year, because you're not getting enough vitamin D. Either you're gonna load up on a lot of sea vegetation, or you're gonna be forced to eat some wild Chilean sea bass or something of that nature to keep your internal and external melanin, because vitamin D is directly related to melanin quality. All right, so we're not the same. That's my point. We keep getting fed that, right? And that becomes problematic. So let's take a look at a few more things. Here we go. Blood types. You've heard that book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. Wrong. The book is totally erroneous. Most of us either have one set of genes from one parent that's O, even if we have AB or AB blood type, or a full O. And when you look at what's on these others, you see the galactosamine. Galactose, right, is what makes lactose when it binds with glucose. That's why they say we're lactose intolerant. Most of our people are over here or here. And then the amine is nitrogen. So that's on the blood cell, which is making it iron deficient. All right. It's disrupting the potassium. And it's transporting more ammonia into the cell, which is going to decrease oxygen. So when you talk about detox of the blood, you can't tell me, oh, I'm going to eat some mushrooms. Oh, I'm going to eat some broccoli, a pureane high in nitrogen. Or I'm going to eat Savoy spinach, a pureane high in nitrogen. But that's where I get my protein from. You need carbon-based proteins, not nitrogen-based proteins from nitrogen fixators. Nitrogen fixators are types of plants. You will weaken your blood, which means you're going to weaken your whole body. So a part of this detox is we have your blood pristine with no toxemia in it. All right? So this book has all of that. And don't tell us melanin is not present. John Pawelek wrote over 200 peer-reviewed papers on melanin. He did what? He patented melanin. Why is he patenting this substance? Why is it so vital in all of their medical studies? Because it deals with immunity. And they extract it and use it. There's a liver that I was talking about earlier. That's the portal vein running from the intestines. All right. When the food gets into the intestines, it's on these little fibers right here called villi that they get absorbed and go straight here through the portal vein into the liver. All right. We can't say that being plant-based is not important. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Younger age, older age. He's in the 60s right here. What happened? He was sculpting protein-based nitrogen that collapsed as he got older because he couldn't hold it. Look at the 61-year-old who's eating fruits and vegetation. His didn't collapse. The definition, the toning of the muscles, the flexibility of the muscles, all of that is based on nutrition, psychosomatic and physical nutrition. There are vegans that can be bodybuilders. All right. So again, we're talking detoxing. Talking detoxing parasites and all of those things. So you have 2 supplements that are going to help you tremendously with that, because these pathogens can get inside of the plexuses, candida, etc., and secrete substances into the vagus nerve and other shafts. All right. You worried about losing weight? These are some of the foods that you can take in to keep your weight throughout the regimen. 19 natural weight gaining foods. They'll be in your recipes that we provide you in the 21-day detox report, and you can pull them from here. Top nutritional foods. Look at them. Worst foods. Stay away from them. Some people consider some of these healthy. Oh, I'm going to give me some cauliflower and black broccoli. Totally wrong foods to get. Oh, I'm about to make me some mushrooms with flaxseed. Flaxseed is a superfood. Flaxseed is not a superfood. It's the highest amount of aromatase, which converts progesterone to bad estrogens, estradiol, and converts testosterone into estrogens. You never want to touch flaxseed. You can test this. You can leave a healthy food like fonio, which is also a seed, out. Mice will not touch it. You leave some flaxseed out, mice will eat it up. Because they're scavengers. Some bodybuilders and weightlifters say you want to keep weight, you got to eat eggs. High in albumin. Going to clog your arteries up. You don't need it. There are other things that we can give you that will help you in a major way. All right. All right. So there's a lot in this book, but basic things I wanted to go over. All right. Stress. The breathing is going to reduce the glucagon, which is produced right here in this pancreas. Insulin is an anabolic steroid or a hormone. Glucagon is catabolic. All right, which means it's a builder. Diabetes, the main cause is a lack of exercise. The muscles are meant to burn glucose. You are not moving. Therefore, that sugar is building up. That starch is building up. It's becoming toxic. The insulin is a backup to burn sugar, not the precursor. The precursor organ that burns the sugars or uses the sugars, the monosaccharides, the carbohydrates, are the muscles. When you give the muscles starch, you give them polysaccharides, not monosaccharides that just have glucose. They have galactose too. The galactose is what creates the lactic acid. The galactose has these small little enzymes called lactase. Right? So you got to understand the difference between catabolic hormones and anabolic. The anabolic are builders. The catabolic will tear down structures and tissues and happen, when you're in stress mode. The key here is oxygen. Why do you think our ancestors made this symbol? This is the circle of Willis. This is oxygen to the brain. When we see Queen Ty, she has this to her nose. That shows the exquisite level of knowledge they had about neuroanatomy and oxygen. Look at them. The sun disk, oxygen, life, catalyzed through photosynthesis. They're showing their understanding of photosynthesis with this basic visual that we have here. All right. I want to talk about all right, I want to go to some looks at cellular respiration, and we get out of here. Let's look at it. We got cellular respiration and citric acid cycle. Suffice it to say, we're dealing with the ability to keep the cell hydrated, the high levels of oxygen, oxygen being the energy that is released in the ATP, ADP cycle. But let's just put it like this. Your cells need to breathe. Do not suffocate them. Do not suffocate them. Do not suffocate them with bad supplements. Do not suffocate them with goitrogens that throw off the hormonal balance, creating hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. Do not do that. This cycle is very, very, very important. These cytochromes are melanin centers that these electrons are passing through. There's quantum mechanics happening here inside of your body. And so the only reason I'm pointing it out is for you to know that if you do what we say inside of this, each cell will detox. Each cell will detox. It will clean itself. Right? All right. So look, let me come off of this. I didn't want to keep you long today. What's going to happen from now? For those of you who registered in full for the detox, you are going to get a full PDF file with your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday meal plans in detail. The food you have to shop for in detail. The exercises that you do in detail. The breathing that you do in detail. The types of exercises that we recommend that are best and how to perform them in detail. And you will have access to this video where you can look over it. You have access to me. You can text me. You can call me. I got a question for you, Doc. This is what I'm feeling, Doc. Oh, I have a chronic disease that goes beyond that. So yeah, I'm with the detox, but I need some extra guidance. You can give that to me. All right. Give me a call during this period. The idea of this period is we want you to come out a brand new person, focused and ready to have a good, said 2019 year. And what better way to start it off than cleaning your temple? You know how sometimes your house get a little messy? You come home and you just say, you know what, I'm putting everything down, I'm stopping, I'm gonna organize this and clean it. As soon as you're done, the whole energy is different. That is what we want you to do. And to do so, you need the knowledge of foods, biochemistry, what's going to happen, and a safe and healthy way to fast and do detox and cellular regeneration operations. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit more about regeneration. Perhaps I'll do another live. If I do, I'll notify y'all in advance so we could talk about tissue regeneration, because I didn't talk about it a lot, but there's a lot of myths about it. And I want to destroy those myths in the sense that, you know, the thought that we get new cells by mitotic division, no, that's a stress cell. Tell you what things, which you already have, you're doing them, but they stimulate pluripotent stem cells. And why? And how to keep cells healthy perpetually. There's a way to do that. There's a way through thinking, because thinking is biochemistry. Emotions are biochemistry. Nutrition, biochemistry. Right? All right. So we are done for the day. If you have questions for me, you can give me a call. You can give me a text. You can give me an email. We're going to get those products out to you guys who signed up. And we're going to be on doing some of these things starting on the start day. We wanted to get the start day January 2nd or 3rd. But if you have to delay for any particular reason, you're traveling or something like that, that's fine. We want you to get that 21-day period in. It's vitally important. Right? All right. So I'm going to end this video. And when I end it, you will be able to go back and watch it over and over and over again if I said something that will help you. But you have everything in your guidance written. And that's all I have to say today. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Peace.